Inam and Mohammed for joining me today for this Teaching English Facebook Live. How are you today, Inam?
Thank you, Wendy. I'm well. I'm fine.
And how are you doing, Mohammed?
Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. I'm also doing good.
Okay, well, I want to thank you.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm doing well. We are starting slightly late. My apologies. I got confused about the time between here in the Netherlands and over there in Bangladesh. So thank you very much for joining. My apologies for the late start. And please say hello in the chat if you are with us, and we can share your messages. But today we are going to share with you our thoughts on the Teaching English Class 1 Live. And I would like to start with a short video to explain how you can download these materials to your computer. So if you give me one moment while I share with you this short video on how you can access these materials yourself to use in your classroom. One moment. I'm sharing my screen now. Can you see it? One moment. Okay, so I will share with you how you can access these materials from the internet. And I can see that we have Rosina just join us. Please say hello if you are joining us, and we can share your messages. But let's start with this short video.
Two little blackbirds sitting on the wall. One called Peter, one called Paul.
Okay, we are very excited that we have got these materials available to share with you all. And I also have joining me Taslima. Welcome, Taslima. Great to have you with us. And whilst we were watching the video, we've got some more people joining us in the chat. Good to see you. Okay, let's get started and begin with some introductions. Taslima, can you explain who you are and what you plan to do here today?
Thank you, Wendy, for giving me the chance to thank you and British Council for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself and giving me the Pallavi Government Primary School, Mirpur, Dhaka. And I'm working with my little learners over 15 years. And I have completed my TNT training from Dhaka PTI in first cohort. And I'm
Okay, I think Taslima has got an intermittent connection, but Taslima was very helpful in connecting me with the other teachers who are taking part in today's webinar. And so I would like to invite Mohammed to introduce himself too.
Thank you, Wendy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Mohammad Shahiduzzaman, assistant teacher of Baharpur Government Primary School under Baliakandi Upazila in Rajbari district. Actually, I am master trainer in my Upazila in English. It is a great news that I can share with you that I was selected as the best assistant teacher of my district in 2022. I'm also a district ambassador teacher selected by A2I and also one of the best content developer of Bangladesh selected by Teachers Portal, Shikhak Batayan. Thanks to the authority of British Council of Bangladesh to give me the honorable chance to express myself here in this renowned program with the great educator Wendy. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you both here, and possibly Inam will come back to join us as we go through the session. And as I am speaking, fantastic. Inam, we're just doing the introductions, so I'd like to hand the floor to you to introduce yourself briefly to the session. Inam, we cannot hear you. We can't hear your sound.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Inam?
Hello, everyone. Primary Inamullah Khan. I'm working in this institution since 2010, and institution is my mother school. And very important one thing that I have taken 33 classes, TV classes and 21 radio classes in our CSSR project, namely COVID-19 School Sector Response, which was conducted by UNICEF and our Bangladeshi government, especially Directorate of Primary Education. And I'm the first ICT ambassador in my Upazila, and I was the best assistant teacher 2022 in my district, Maulavi Bajar. And one thing is very important in my school, my colleagues, my head teacher are so nice. They support me very well, and I love teaching. And one thing very important, like Wendy, that I'm a lifelong learner. Always learn something from other side.
Okay, and our last guest who is joining us today is Soraya. So Soraya, would you like to introduce yourself too, very briefly?
Hello everyone, I'm Soraya Siddiqa. I am assistant teacher at Ganga Prasad Government Primary School, Shibalaya, Bangladesh. And I am a TMT trainer in my Upazila. And many, many thanks to Wendy. After a long time, we didn't meet each other. And many, many thanks to British Council Bangladesh for giving me the opportunity to come live and share my experiences with everyone.
Well, thank you all very much for joining me today. And now let's get started. So hopefully you are aware that we have now got the audio material online and available for you to use in your classes for English for Today, Class 1. And I'd like to begin by asking generally, what do you think about the new English for today for class 1? So, Inam, can I ask you to start with? Inam, we can't hear, your sounds off.
Okay. Thank you, Wendy, for giving me chance to say something. Actually, in our previous EFT book, we have found 30 units, but in our new EFT book, there are only 5 units. Only 5 units. And in first units, there are greetings and farewells. And unit 2, there are letters, then numbers, then letters, then numbers after rhyme, and one by one sequentially chronologically. This is so nice for me. And in the third unit, we can found classroom instructions, and unit 4 questions and answers, and finally in unit 5 rhymes and sounds. And in unit 2, we can see here 21 lessons. And in each lesson, there are 2 letters, then 2 numbers, then rhymes, then again 2 letters, 2 numbers, and after that chronologically rhymes here. And before beginning the unit number 2, there are there is an alphabet song, and in alphabet song, all alphabets, all letters in one song. And before beginning the learning letters, they heard.
Okay. So this is really nice. The learners will hear the names of the letters in the alphabet song, and then later in each unit, we go down to looking at the sound of the letter rather than the name of the letter. And this is really useful. Soraya, what do you think about the new English for today for class 1? How does it compare? Oh, Soraya's disappeared. I think something else that Mohammed mentioned about the new version of English for today is the pictures that are available in the textbook. Perhaps Taslima, if your connection is good, can you explain something about how pictures can be useful in the classroom for all levels? Do you use pictures in your classroom with your students, Taslima? I'm not sure that Taslima can hear me. In that case, Inam, perhaps you can tell us how the pictures are really a useful resource in this version of English for Today at class 1.
Actually, in every lesson, we have found one lesson related picture. And in this picture, after these pictures, they can get the words, and after the words, they can get the letters, which is the lesson's name. Suppose C and D in unit 2 lesson number 3, there are 1 pictures, okay, and learners can learn C and D. And in these pictures, there are cat, cows, dog, duck, etc., etc. And after that, in activity B, they see the cat's picture, the cow's picture, the dog's picture, and teacher will ask the learners, what can you see in this picture? They will say cow, or sometimes they can use their mother tongue, but teacher will teach clearly. So that cat, the first letter cat is C, 1 by 1, picture, words, then letters, and they will learn the letters from this lesson.
Yeah. What about the pictures that you have at the start of each unit? Can you show us the pictures that you have at the start of Unit 3? So I think it's like you say, and like people are talking about in the chat, using pictures is a really useful resource. And I think Shah Alam was suggesting that the new curriculum and the syllabus, there are lots of lessons to develop speaking skills. At class 1, pictures are really critical so that you can show that image. And then the students can say what they can see when they look at the picture of the village, rather than the teacher saying, there is a cow, there is a dog, repeat after me. We have the opportunity here to invite the learners to say, I can see a dog, I can see a cat, I can see a water point. And this is something, Mohammed is back with us, that Mohammed highlighted about the pictures being really useful for the class 1 book. But something else you mentioned, Mohammed, aside from the pictures, was the lettercraft. Would you like to tell us a little bit about how you feel about the lettercraft in the new book, English for Today? Can you hear us, Mohammed?
And I can hear you. Please, repeat the question, please.
So I was just explaining of what you said about pictures being a very useful resource for class 1. And so I think I have covered that point. But can you tell us a little bit about lettercraft and the way that
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Wendy. I think lettercraft is very special for new EFT because here some project work, I mean lettercraft, and I tell the students to make the funny letters. They do and enjoy the project work, and this work gives chance a student to be creative, actually. So lettercraft is very useful and very much enjoyable to our young learners.
And it's so important that when we teach students, we do this from the perspective of the whole learner. We don't just want them to be able to read or speak English, but also have fun and feel like English is something that's creative. Learning to write is a creative skill, not a teacher saying, make the letter A, write the letter A, but trying to do this in different ways. And the book allows for that. So I think those are really nice comments. The way the book has been divided up has changed, and also the variety of pictures, and then the different types of activities that are available. Taslima, I'm wondering how your connection is, how your sound is.
Now it's okay. I'm extremely sorry.
No problem. It happens. I think
it's okay. Now it's okay.
Fantastic. So maybe we can move on to the next question, Taslima.
Can I ask you something, Wendy?
Yes, please do.
Because my task was to host the live program, but for my connection, I can do this. So I would like to know that today's live is about audio materials of class 1, how we use it. And I know that you have assist to develop this audio. So I would like to know what was your experience and the logic behind to do this kind of work.
So thank you so much for asking about this, because It was a real interesting project. One of the first things that Inam wanted to know is, how did this come about? And I think that's important to know as teachers. So the way that the Class 1 audio materials came about was the government of Bangladesh, the Ministry of Education, wanted to make these materials. And so they contacted the British Council. And I worked with Bangladeshi teachers. So all of the audio is with Bangladeshi voiceover, and two Bangladeshi teachers that work for the British Council helped to write the scripts. And then I listened to check if it sounded okay. And this was quite challenging because we have different accents. And in English, we want to embrace that. And then we want something that is mutually understood. And so that was something that we wanted to check with each other to make sure that we had the same standard and the same ideas. Also, making sure that we had the sounds of the letter and not just the names of the letter in the audio. So A makes the sound A for apple. And I can't tell you how long we spent trying to say E makes the sound E for egg. And this is very common, that this is a problem between different languages. We hear different things, we have different sounds. But I learned that the letter in Bangladesh speakers, I can hear some background noise. Can we go on mute? So yeah, I learned that the letter that makes the letter E that makes the sound is a difficult sound for Bangladeshi teachers. And I noticed this as well in the way that we say words like leg, egg, and head. This can sometimes sound more like lig and hid, which is not the same for me. I would say a wider sound. And so this was a really interesting thing to explore and to work with my colleagues. And then the other thing was trying to think about the rhymes, to come up with tunes that we can use in the classroom. So I hope it's a helpful resource because we put a lot of work into it. And so I hope it helps for you in the classrooms too. So
thank you, Wendy. You really did a great job. And I think it will be very beneficial for our little learners as well as a teacher also. Because you said the real thing that most of our students say E-G-G, EG. And this is our problem also. So now I would like to come Inaullah. Inam, can you have you get any chance to use this audio in your class? Can you please share your ideas with us?
Thank you, Taslima Apu. Actually, when I use the audio materials in class 1, especially when I teach the letters to my learners, then I use the audio sounds, which we have found in NCTV website. And this is very important for the learners, that when we use the role play, one learner and another learner, one learner pronounce correct pronunciation, correct sentence, correct word, correct letters from that audio. That's why these audios are so important for us. And we have to use this in our classroom. And if we know that we are in rural areas, teachers as much as we see in our country, and So that's why every teacher can pronounce the letters differently. But when we use the audio, then the learners can hear the actual sound from the audio. That's why
Ex-
I suggest to all of my colleagues that use the audios in our classroom. Thank you.
Right, exactly. And I would like to say, and not only the rural areas teachers and students, who are in urban area, we also have the difficulties with the pronunciation. So I think it will be very beneficial for us. And now I'd like to come Shahiduzzaman. Would you please share your ideas if you have had the chance to use the audio in your class, and what ways have you had to adapt your teaching audio in your class?
Oh, Mohammed, you're on mute.
Okay, thank you very much, Taslima Po, for giving me another chance to express myself. Actually, you know, and we know that English is a foreign language for us as well as our young learners. So we have to face some problems, and for this, our government or NCTV provide us audio materials. For this, we have to download it from NCTV website, and I have already downloaded that, and I use it in the classroom. When I use it in the classroom, the young learners enjoy the audio sound very carefully, as well as we can we use audio materials in the classroom, our pronunciation will be same for me and for other teachers, or for our students, for young, for advanced students, or weaker students. So here I especially I emphasis on pronunciation. I emphasis on pronunciation because sometimes I use sometimes I use 4-bit sound, 4-bit phonics, like a b b like this. And I also spell the word with the sound of a letter, but when I use this, I feel some problem, and the student sometimes feel unenjoy. So feel if I want to make them enjoyable, I want to make them jolly in the classroom, then I use audio materials, and from there this audio sorry it is very good. It is very good if we use in our classroom the audio materials. It is good to learn the sounds and the names of the letters. Sometimes it is good to have the audio, as it can be less scratchy than an adult teacher. Some students find it easier to learn from the audio. Thank you.
I find that such an important point that Mohammed's making, because I love the way that you do this. I can imagine your students are saying a, ah, and then this can be really nice and immediate, but then also having the variety and other ways to show students the sounds to bring into your classroom routine, and where students are feeling maybe a little bit shy and an adult presence is strong, then the audio can be very useful. Before we move on, Soraya, would you like to say a few words about how you're using the audio in your classes? Soraya, I'm not sure if you've got internet. Hello, Soraya? Okay, I think we should move on to the next question, Taslima.
And now I am going to you, Wendy. What do you think? What was important for making this audio, and in what process you make it? If you share with us it, we will be happy. And what are your hopes for the audio tracks? Would you please share with us?
So it makes me really happy to hear that people have downloaded it and they are using these materials in their class. I've explained a little bit about the process, how we had the teachers in Bangladesh and the voiceover, the voice artists making the recordings who were all Bangladeshi. But one of the things that I think is really important, as Mohammed and Inam have described, is to use this as a resource. So if you feel your students respond and learn better with you using the Biba approach, then make sure your pronunciation of the letter is perfect. But do it. You do it. You don't necessarily need the audio for the students to listen to in the class. If they respond to the teacher better, if the connection between the teacher and the student is really good, then use that as your main approach. And you can bring that audio in for fun and variety, but the teacher can be central. That way, this audio can become a resource to the teacher. So you can train yourself rather than the audio becoming the classroom resource. But it could be a way that you develop your own skills. So first thing is use your judgment as teachers. I want you to teach your students the way that makes your students happy. And if that's having a dialogue with them, teacher to student, and teaching them using your own voice, do that. And then the audios can be a way that you check how you are teaching. And yet, someone in the chat is saying here that the teacher's voice is very important. But as I noticed, the sound of the letter E, the sound is very hard. So listen to that track, play it over, check with people. Maybe you just use that track in your class because that's a sound that you're like, I'm not sure how well I make it. And if you hear a student that makes that sound better than you, then get them to be the Biba student. Use them as the model, because essentially we just want to build on the skill that we have. The second and a similar point I would make is that we can use those songs to sing with the children. But if you enjoy singing, if you have a different rhyme or version, rhythm that you want to bring in, or if singing without the audio and singing together with your class is more fun than singing with the audio, then do it as the teacher. Like, you're the professionals here. You understand your learners, so look and read your classroom. The final point I would say is these materials are online. Anyone can download them. Teachers, schools, they are free to access. And so if your students can, they can also download these materials. And if your students have got good internet access and they've downloaded them, They can listen to them at home as homework. You can use this as a self-study task and empower your students to be independent learners outside of the classroom. So I think it's a resource for in the class, it's a resource for teachers, but it's also a resource for students too. And this point here, this Shahela makes about it being a resource for teachers, this is true. But if you notice, some of your students have got great pronunciation of two little blackbirds sitting on a wall, let them lead it. They can be the people that lead the students to sing along. And hopefully, the way that the songs are staggered, the rhymes are staggered, then that should help students get to grips with them. Earlier, there was a comment about how the class book is a bit hard because there's so many rhymes and it's not so easy for little kids. But if we can get those songs and those rhymes to be fun and enjoyable, then the children can play along and learn the songs and sing them outside of school. I remember there was a UN speaker at a conference I went to once, and one of the ways that he knew that a primary school project had been a success in Yemen was he could hear the children singing the songs from English class on their way home from school. And so songs are so powerful and important. Like really think about how we stagger the songs so we don't overwhelm the student, but also how we get it into the students' heads so they enjoy singing it both in the class and outside of the class. Sorry, I'm very passionate about that. I feel I've talked a lot. So I'm going to let you get on with the next question, Taslima.
Okay, Wendy, thank you for your nice tips and suggestions. Now, Suraya, can you hear me? Suraya? Suraya, can I ask you?
Yes.
Can you tell us what is your favorite lessons from the new EFT for class 1? Have there any
Unit
favorite lessons?
5, rhymes and sounds is my favorite lesson from new EFT class 1.
Okay. Now, what about you, Inam?
Okay, thank you. Actually, my favorite lesson is Unit 2, Lesson 1. The lesson name is Alphabet Song. So far, I think this is the engine of the EFT. So before we teaching our learners, we have to learn how can we pronounce in each letter. Okay, so that's why audio materials are so important in this lesson. Thank you.
Thank you. And Shoiduzzaman, how you have used these audio materials in your class?
Before answering the question, I want to share myself what lesson and which lesson is my favorite. All the lesson are favorite to me, especially songs. Two little blackbird sitting on a wall, one called Peter, one called Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Goodbye, Peter. Goodbye, Paul. Like this. So this song and rhymes are very much favorite to me. Okay, thank you very much. My question is about: do you have any? How about what tips or comments do you want to share? Is it
how you have you used these audio materials in your class?
Okay.
In what way?
Actually, I use these audio materials in my classroom fruitfully. And I use a multimedia projector, and you know, I have Sheikh Russell Digital Lab, and there I conduct my rhymes or songs classes in that room. So multimedia projector are available, and internet connecting and everything is available. And I downloaded the audio materials from the website of the NCTB, and there I use the audio material fruitfully. And when I use this audio material, actually, the student of my class one, the class one student are very much enjoy this, and I can teach them very easily by using this audio material. So this is a fruitful technique to use these audio materials to teach the students, teach the young learners fruitfully. Thank you.
Thank you. And Suraya, what about you? How you have used these audio materials in your class?
I am agree with Mohammed. Same
Oh.
technique we used in our class also.
Okay. Now, Wendy, I would like to come you. Have you any special tips for our Bangladeshi teacher use briefly then, and it will work more in our class?
So I think, as I said,
You able to get 100% of our students. If you have any tips, please share.
The tips that I would like to share would be, number one, you're the teacher and they're your students. You're in the classroom and you're in that place. So you are going to make the decision about what works best for your different learners. You need to understand your learners. But I think the new book has lots of possibilities with the audio, as we say, for a model for us as teachers, for a resource in the classroom or not, or for a resource for your students to use at home. And the final tip that I think I would like to emphasize is not my idea, but this has come from the conversations that I've had with Inam, Soraya, and Mohammed, is the way that we used pictures to ask students to work together in groups, to work in pairs, to say what they see in the picture, and then ask them to tell the class about what they have seen. I think this is really, really good because it focuses, as Alam Shah said in the chat, students on speaking and not the teacher speaking. Also, the points that we made about the lettercraft, I think is really important, that you start to see how English is not just about teaching language speaking, but also creativity, creating that environment in a class where students feel comfortable and confident and happy. And I really am interested to know how this goes for teachers using the audio materials and using the book. There was a question in the chat asking about if I have worked on the class 2 book of the new curriculum. I haven't been involved with that, no. So we will see what happens, and if I'm given the opportunity, I would be grateful to be. But there are lots of great teachers and professionals working in Bangladesh, and so I think it's nice to have that variety. Thank you, Taslima.
Thank you, Wendy. And Mohammed, have you any other tips for our teachers?
Thanks for giving chance to express myself again, Taslima Apu. We have to create, as a teacher, we have to create a positive or friendly atmospheres when we enter the classroom. And when we enter the classroom, our face must be a smiling face, and then we can use the advanced student to teach the weaker student like this. If I ask the student, how are you? Then all the students, I think they do not understand what is the meaning of how are you. So I can ask the advanced student, how are you? Then he or she will answer me, I'm fine. Then after that, I can ask the same question the weaker student. So how are you? And I think they can express their answer. They can answer the question, I'm fine, and say, I am fine. Try. I think they can try. They can try, and if I help them, they will answer me. And then warm up activity, when we do some warm up activity. There I can act. There I can sing like this. Follow, follow, follow me. Hands up, hands down. I can sing, I can dance, I can show you how to run. I can show you how to run, like this song. This song is very much fruitful to teach our young learner, I think. And and at the same time, I want to say all the teachers to follow the teachers guides as well as the experience which you have gathered from the TMT master trainers from your upazila. And here I can say very important things. Our new curriculum is a student-centered curriculum. So we have to use here TTT only 30% and STT 70%. TTT means teachers talking time will be only 30%, and STT means student talking time will be 70%. If we engage our students in this situation, I think they will be like a native speaker, like our Wendy.
Thank you, Venam, for your nice tips. Hopefully it will work. And Enam, would you like to add anything?
Actually, I also use the audio when I teach the rhyme, and I can act in front of them, just like our Shohid Jamal sir, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which fingers did it bite? This little finger on my right. Just like that, and they feel very, very happy. They feel very happy and enjoy my classes. And so that I'm telling, audio materials are so important for class 1, especially EFT.
Right, you are right. Now, Wendy, what are the next steps for the teachers?
Well, I think something that has come up often in the chat is people ask, how can I participate with you? And so I would like to invite you to join me and other teachers on the 18th of March. I will be holding a webinar so that we can actually have the opportunity to discuss together. So you should be able to see here we have got a conversation with teachers together using the Class 1 audio webinar, but talking about how we're using the book, sharing our songs and singing together, much like we have in today's session for inspiration. So that's Thursday, 14th of March at 8 p.m. There will be limited spaces, so you will need to make sure that you register in advance. And I would also be very grateful if people watching this webinar can complete the feedback form about the event. Let us know what was helpful, what you take away. We make these webinars and hope they are useful for you. So it's great to have your feedback to let us know what is useful and what works. So thank you very much, Taslima.
Thank you. And thank you all the lovely participants for your vibrant presence here today. I have enjoyed a lot. Hopefully you have also enjoyed this live session. Thank you, everybody.
And goodbye. Oh, one moment. I think I would really like it if Inam, could you sing us out, please?
Of course, I want to sing the goodbye song, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Goodbye, goodbye, it's time to go away. Goodbye, goodbye, I wish you a good day.
Goodbye, goodbye, it's time to go away.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, goodbye, I wish you a good day.
Good day.
Okay, thank you so much, and goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.